mura mag-blurred. Wala siya blurred. Oh, ma-blurred siya. What's the problem? What's the problem? I need to find nice podcasts. What is nice? Okay, are itong Miranda Kerr or? Okay, are itong Mariel case. Mariel is very... I will have no desert. Bike. I can stop this. Kanara akong i-stop ang music. Kay makuanta. Copyright. Good morning, everyone. What's up, everyone? Naghanap po na rin ko. Nag-big commercial.
Yung may kasalanan ka sa akin, bilang mo ako ng ganito. Oh my God, never.
Ay, ayun na. Pinapakanta ko ako. Sabi ko na. Kemy na yan.
Parang,
Okay.
alam mo, parang lumabas, wala siyang balak mag-Kelly talaga. Wala siyang naririnig.
Okay, wala na.
Umalis pa na.
Nagsaba ni nga podcast.
Loaded teammates! Ay, ka muna sa
Hi,
teammates natin.
teammates! Hello!
Saba siya. What is bridge? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Aritang Miranda Kerr. Where is Miranda Kerr, no? Miranda Kerr. Where is that? Sumanang for bridge, oy? What do you mean by that? Bisaya, be, Bisaya. Asa naman to? Back to the one. I said I would die for you, baby. Can I dance and never? Rosie. I-search na lang nato siya. We need all real life to escape social media. I can't escape right now. I don't have like so much followers. So right now I'm still chill. Okay. This one. Princess Madeline. We're gonna listen to Princess Madeline in Sweden.
Varför vill du reservera din köksel?
Ay, kadaghag
Kanske för
kommersial.
en speciell middag. Nu när du har dina matvaror från Foodora, är du redo för, en speciell...
Please like and subscribe.
Blir de lite bättre med Foodora. Foodora, för att jag vill. Hur går det med svenska, Chris?
A little. Slowly. Långsamt.
Långsamt, ja. Just det. Det är bra.
Du förstår.
Du förstår?
Ja, jag ser.
Ja. Du förstår allt jag säger?
I mean, most. When Leonor and Madeline speak, especially about animals, if it's about, hästen, kaninen, then I get it. Anything more complicated than that. it's a little
So,
difficult.
kaninen, or meaning the rabbit, that's one of the first words you learned in Swedish.
Because that's
Yeah, we-
Leonor's little thing.
We can't live without the kaninen. She's a
important.
special rabbit, and she can't sleep without it. And so it's, if we don't find kaninen, we're not going to go to bed at night.
We walked through Chelsea and she dropped it. We got home, we realized that it wasn't there. I spent 2 hours going back and forth across the street.
In the rain.
I thought they'd thrown it in the dustbin. I was looking in dustbins. People thought it was crazy, but I
Looking for this
didn't
rabbit.
find it.
No.
Terrible.
And it's just kaninen, it hasn't got a name, it's
It's
just
just
kaninen. Do you sing lullabies?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Yeah? What did you
I
think
saw that.
about did you like my lullaby?
Yes, but I was so surprised that you didn't know the Blinka lilla stjärna.
Well, you have it in Sweden. There you go.
You don't
I'm
have it.
Norwegian,
Oh, yeah, of course, Norwegians,
How you say twinkle twinkle in Sweden?
Yes,
Oh,
Blinka
it
lilla
sounds
stjärna.
so nicer.
Probably we have it in Norway as well. I'm going to get a lot of problems because
For sure.
this is your lucky day in a way because we have an English-speaking guest here, so
I know.
we need to do this in English.
fantastic.
Tell me, can you recognize the fact that people get nervous around you when you enter a room as a royal person? Can you sense that people get sort of?
So, sometimes, but I try to, smile and say hi and bring it back. But it's not, I'm just a normal person.
I get
And-
nervous when she walks in the room. So
You can know.
For you in the beginning, it must have been sort of awkward. I mean, coming into this very special family, being a civilian. I mean, it must be. Didn't you feel sort of? Yeah. But I would be nervous. I think I would be nervous. Meeting the king and the queen for the first time.
yeah, for sure. But you know what? In each of those circumstances, they happened in unexpected ways. I wasn't fully prepared, and so that took the edge off. But there's no how-to book. There's no guide. There's no nothing. So you have to learn a little bit on the flow. But for sure, you're definitely a little nervous.
How do you if you talk to the king, your father-in-law? How do you address it?
Giza. He's always sir.
His sir. Yeah.
Sir. Yeah. She's mom.
pinch myself every day.
Okay.
We met through mutual friends in New York, and
Oh,
we were basically living, in a way, kind of parallel lives. You know, I kind of saw something there, she didn't see something there. That's just me. But there was always chemistry, laughter, sense of humor. That's really the bond that I think most couples that have to kind of, endure a long time or through some kind of focus or nervous attention, that sense of humor to take everything a little bit with a pinch of salt, that helps. So that's
Yeah, you make me laugh every day.
Oh.
And
it's
no,
usually
it's
at
true.
me, not with me. But
That video was so beautiful of like your life and you guys. It was so nice.
But tell me, meeting her for the first time, you were quite sure quite early. I mean, what did you see?
I think in a way, I read people well. That's part of my job, it's what I've done. And with Madeline, you see that big smile, you see those eyes, and she's very outgoing, she's very honest, and she's very forthcoming and sweet and welcoming, and she immediately, because people, as you say, are nervous around her and so forth, and she dispels that. I necessarily wasn't nervous because we met in a private setting. And, but yet, you just see their gregariousness. It's a wonderful thing. So,
What did you see?
With Chris, well, absolutely the sense of humor. And, of course, his charm, his looks. Chris is a very, very thoughtful person. He's very, very generous. And, he's a true gentleman. And, yeah.
Has he changed you?
Yes, absolutely. I feel he makes me feel very safe, and I think we're a good team together. We like kind of the same things, and it's quite easy.
Have you changed him?
I don't know, have I?
yes, for sure. For sure.
Calmer.
Calmer. Calmer.
Exactly. Hopefully, we're better. You never know.
I'm gonna ask my boyfriend that tonight. And see.
But we all try to change each other a bit, don't we? I mean, perhaps the clothes, the style, something that.
Oh, the clothes and style. That I can't touch him. I say something. No. This is who I am, and that's what I like about Chris. He's very much about this is me. I'm Chris O'Neill, and I'm not going to change, and I love that.
Have you been changed by a boyfriend?
This is so fairy tale like, by the way. Real life fairy tale. No, me and my boyfriend's a bit older than, well, quite a bit older than me, and actually I feel like for the first time in my life so far, that's why our relationship works so much, is because he already is who he's going to be. Like, whereas anyone else I've ever been with isn't quite there yet, so they're always changing a lot. So I think the key to our success is that obviously we love each other, but I think our age gap actually really works for me and my boyfriend. But yeah, I've changed loads, but I think for the better. It's amazing being a real team.
Yeah.
Rather than being very separate, and when you argue, rather than splitting up, actually overcoming stuff, it makes you more powerful.
And that's so true, and especially now when you have children, it's
Yeah.
really being a team. You really have to
Yeah.
be strong together.
Yeah.
You're quite different people, aren't you? I mean,
Well, yes and no, I would say. I'm definitely the one who's maybe a little bit more calmer, and you can sometimes, Chris is a very emotional guy, which is fun.
Italian, Irish, there's obviously some ferociousness there. But,
so you're more temperamental, more.
Absolutely, I'm so moody, it's terrible.
So how?
Stay Swedish, calm, all the time.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? I mean, when he's in one of his moods.
Well, the one who deals best with is actually Leonor. She just looks at him and says, "Hi, hi."
Good. It just softens you in a second.
Yeah.
Who's the most romantic of you?
You are.
Yeah.
You've been living in New York, in Stockholm, and now you live here in London. And you have 2 kids. So a lot has happened, one must say, since you met. Describe your life here in London. How is it? Do you live in a house, or do you live in a flat, or what kind of life is it?
We live in a very normal life right now. I'm a full-time mom right now, and I enjoy spending most of my time with our little kids. And I mean, Chris, you work a lot, but when you're home, we try to do fun things together. And the weekends, we try to, go to the zoo or go to the local market and we find some nice, local vegetables.
Who cooks the best out of you?
Who do you think?
I got a feeling it might be. He's pointing at him. He's going like that. I don't know. Can you cook?
No.
No.
Actually, I have to admit that I probably have never cooked a real meal for Chris. I'm a terrible housewife.
Tell me, what's the best, if you had to cook something,
Yeah.
what could that be?
Swedish meatballs.
I was just about to say.
Which is a
It's
fine
easy,
thing,
no?
best of
Absolutely.
Scotland.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we should get a little lesson going on. But
Yes, please.
let's,
I'm the first one
we
to
have to
sign
phone up
up.
the king first and say, is it all right that an English boy teaches me how to do some Swedish meatballs?
No, for sure. I will jump on that, and I think Chris will be very happy if I do so.
Absolutely.
No, but Chris, I must say, he's a very good chef. So, I feel I don't even want to go into the kitchen because he's kind of, this is my area,
Well,
you
that's
step
the
out.
excuse she uses,
No, you say, I try to say, darling, do you need any help? I can chop. No, you just make a mess. Just stay out. That's what I say. And he's a very good chef,
So what's your signature dish if you
Signature dish?
Yeah, if you want to impress.
Oh yeah. I think we like in the winter we like making like big soups like a ribolita or a minestrone. Your minestrone recipe is always 94 guide.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. But as we say, if you go to the market, I kind of grew up sometimes in holidays in Italy. My father's mother came from Sicily, and there it's you let the ingredients speak for themselves, and you try not to tamper with them. So the way I kind of look at it is what you find guides you to what you're going to cook. And if you find a great chicken, you find a great bit of veg, you just let them tell you what you're going to cook, and you just dictate from that way. So, but I like making different things.
Do you remember the first meal you made here?
That I cooked for her?
Yeah.
Maybe my aglio olio,
Yes.
spaghetti aglio olio.
I think that's your kind of
That
triumph
could be.
card.
Yeah, that could
To
be.
get all the
Which
girls.
is very simple but still complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like a martini. It's so simple, but you got to get it so right to make it work.
Tell me about Leonor and Nicholas, because we don't know them yet, and you just started to know them because they're very, very young. Can you see their personality already?
Yes, I think. I mean, especially with Leonor. She, it's kind of funny because her name is actually, it means sunlight or sunshine. And I must say, since the day she was born, she's always had a smile on her face. She always, every day she makes us laugh. And she's really a fun little character. She's wild. She's everywhere. But,
Totally wild. And the worst part about it is she already knows that she has her father wrapped around her finger. So she's got it. Nicholas is a gentle soul. He's had a tough time as of late. He had a little tummy bug. Then he had fever and he's got a bit of a cough. So, but even so, you come up to him and he looks at you, and then you smile, and then he smiles, and it's all very gentle, very sweet. She's more outgoing than he is, but he's only 6 months, so we'll see. That's my conversation.
So are they like mini yous, but just the opposite, in a way?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a good blend of each, for sure. There's lots of attributes of each of us in both of them. So.
I can definitely see some part of Leonor within me, she's
Yeah.
kind of...
For sure.
I was quite outgoing when I was a kid, I think, and stubborn as well. And she's
You wait till they get older and you're arguing with them. And the bit that they're beating you with is the bit that's you. And you're going, just a minute, you're just faster than me, and you're me and me. Oh no. Yeah.
And also you become your own parent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, slowly you become. Have you noticed that you become like your own mother, and you?
Yeah.
Are you the same kind of mother that your own mother was?
That's a good question. I don't know really. I think so in some way. I think so. And I want, for me, I feel that my parents, they were so loving and, you know, the most generous people I know. But, you know, they were away a lot when we were kids due to their, you know, obligation as a king and queen. And so I feel that I really want to give my full time right now with my kids, because that's a part that I miss a little bit. But otherwise,
And is that a generational thing? Is that because that was the time
I
then?
think so, absolutely. I think our generation, we are much more hands-on with the kids, especially the fathers. I think we're much more hands-on. I mean, you change, I don't know how many diapers you changed.
Lots.
Don't remind me.
But Madeline and Victoria as well are, if I may say, born mothers. I mean, it's incredible to watch them with their kids because it's just so natural. And I can see it in Carl Philip as well, because when he's with either Riston or Leonor, you know, he just is on the floor and he's playing and wrestling with them. And so all three really are so warm and kind with the kids. That is an amazing thing to see, actually.
You were both, you are both the youngest.
Yeah.
I mean, you grew up with 4 sisters.
5.
5 sisters, sorry, 5 sisters. And so I mean, and you being the youngest, they had you in a trolley and just...
No, I looked like Mick Jagger when I was young. I had this like long hair, I had these like, always these hand-me-down coats, which was bizarre because I had kind of like fur and then they buttoned the wrong way around and it was all very strange. But of course, looking back in hindsight...
They dressed you.
Well, my mother, and you know, looking back, and it was like, you know, late 70s, early 80s. Now it looks so cool. At that point, it was horrendous, but you know, it was a wonderful thing growing up with a lot of sisters because they really, I think, guide you. And I'm, you know, I mean, I think if women could rule the world would be in a lot better place than it is today. So. I really believe it, and so I think that, you know, having been with a lot of strong women in my life, that's only done many positive things. So.
And are you shaped by being the little sister? Do you think that has shaped who you are?
Yeah, I'm sure it has. It's no families, I'm sure. You know, having, you know, my sister, because our parents were gone quite a lot, you know, my sister, she really took on that role of being the oldest sister. She taught us a lot of things at an early stage, and she always came up with fun plays, and my brother, he was kind of in between these strong sisters, so, which usually that happens with the middle child. And, yeah.
And you're still very close with your
Yes, very close. And like when you mentioned Estelle and my sister, it's so much fun nowadays. You know, when we spend our summer in an island called Öland, the south part of Sweden, and it was so much fun this summer to see that, you know, my sister and I, we were doing the same things that we've always done when we were kids, but now with our 2 daughters. And you know, we start off the day and we go and we pick the eggs from the chickens, and then we go to the, you know, strawberry land and we eat some strawberries, and then we go riding, and now we're doing it with our daughters, and it's really fun.
I mean, you grew up in the limelight, I don't know what's your memories like from that. I mean, being a child and so much watched by anyone, every move you made. Was that is that a positive memory or is it a tough memory for you?
You know, I was, poor my parents, they always got a headache when we were, you know, having, you know, family photos or something like that, because I always ran off and I was always hiding, and they always had to drag me there, and I was screaming, and I never really want to be a part of it. And, you know, one could think that I've had this all my life, and one would think and one would maybe expect that I would be used to that by now, to be comfortable, you know, in front of people or with photographers or journalists asking you questions, but I'm really not. I think in the end of the day, I'm quite shy, and I don't like being in the center of attention. But you know, as an official person as I am, I know that this is something I have to deal with, and I'm struggling with it. I'm working on it, and I'm here today.
And when you read about her, when you read criticism or discussion?
Oh, absolutely. Of course. I'm her husband. So, you know, for me, I'm very protective, and I know also that the people writing things, you know, don't know who we are. You know, they've never met us. They might pretend they do, but they've never spent time with us. They've never hung out with us. So they may say things that kind of justify their own means, but aren't really, you know, true. And you get a thicker skin over time. You learn it, and you get to deal with it. But it's always a little painful, for sure.
You have to find a balance, because I mean, as we all know, media is important, and finding a balance. And of course, it saddens me sometimes when media might think that I'm arrogant, or you know, because I'm not answering their questions. But that's really not the case. It's not who I am, and of course that upsets me sometimes. Yeah,
Did it ever happen that you thought, oh, I wish she was not a princess?
Yeah, because you know there were times when, you know, it's interesting. In England, in this country, and kind of the Anglo-Saxon model, we take privacy as sacrosanct. You know, it is God-given right. There's certain things in one's life private, and you know, it's not better or worse than the Scandinavian model, where everything is very much transparent and shared. It's very different. And in hindsight, I was not aware of that. I was not prepared for that in a way. So at some point, I would have been like, oof, I love this girl. I fell in love with this girl, and I have to now, you know, very much adapt my entire life towards who I fell in love with. And there were times, of course, when it wasn't so comfortable that you said, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. They are little minute times, and you know, it doesn't matter.
You have declined royal privileges. I mean, you haven't got a title.
No.
Have you ever considered the same?
You know, I feel that, like Chris, what you said, that if I can, through my title, you know, point on important issues that I really think it's important that we talk about, you know, for example, children's rights, I will, you know, I happily want to do that. And if I can make a difference by just, you know, raising the awareness about sexual abuse of children, this is something we need to talk about. It's so important, and then I'm proud of being a princess.
And this is your mother's foundation that you now work with. It's called Childhood. Tell me, I mean, you've been involved in a lot of projects. What has made the strongest personal impression?
Oh, that's a tough question. You know, with Childhood, and their families at risk, and of course, children who's been sexually abused. And you know, my mom, when she founded Childhood, she saw that nobody talked about this group of kids. It was so taboo, and people didn't know really how to talk about it. And I think it's still difficult for people. I noticed that some, you know, they tune off a little bit when I start talking about it. But again, it's so important that we do address this problem, because there are millions, I think it's over 200 million of children out there who are being sexually abused. And you know, only in the US, I think 1 of 10 children are being abused before they're 18. 85% of these kids are 11 years or younger. So for me, knowing that there's so many kids out there who are sexually abused and exploited, and it makes me even more determined that we have to do something about it. And we can do, you know.
This is how you interpret the role of a modern princess. And the press criticizing you would interpret it differently. They would interpret that you should also be available to the press.
Cut ribbons.
Cut more ribbons. Yes, that's exactly that.
No, I understand it, and I absolutely think I can do both, and I see myself, you know, now living here in England, I feel that I could do much more for Sweden abroad. I can promote, you know, Swedish companies. They're a huge market here in UK, and I think we're over 50,000 Swedes living in London. So there are a lot of things I can do here.
So what you're saying, you could do more.
Absolutely.
She's being a full-time mum. That's better than being a princess, in my opinion.
Do you have any, even though you haven't got the title, do you have any limitations as a businessman in your business? I mean, you're a businessman, you're an investor. Do you feel that this role being her husband gives you some limitations?
It did in my previous job, and that's part of the reason, a small part of the reason why I left that job, because we were managing capital on behalf of clients, and they weren't comfortable in the kind of the intrusion of the person into my life. And so now I've had to adapt what I do insofar that it's really business to business type of business, and therefore you're speaking to large institutions, they're multinationals, outside of certain geographic markets. They don't know who I am at all, so it doesn't really come into. I don't think it's really ever come up in what I've been doing for the last 3-4 years, who I am or what I do. So that's the plus side about it.
What is it you do, really? I mean,
it's true. It's a good answer. It's a good question. So I sat behind 4 computer screens for like 20 years of my life. I was just trading, and while I was okay at what I did, and I liked what I did, and I enjoyed it, it was time for me to not do that anymore. And so I basically spent a lot of my time focusing on 2 industries. One was payment processing, and one was energy. And now I've identified 2 opportunities in those 2 industries that I am trying to exploit and make some business from. These are long-term contracts dealing with very, very big companies. And so it takes time to win them. It's very frustrating sometimes because you have a solution that would really fix problems that they have, but trying to make a titanic move takes time.
Before we wrap up tonight, I liked what you did now. Sorry, I really that was a couple thing. Because you're here. You had it's not the problem, but you had one here down there, and she was like.
I just
So nice, yes. Let's talk about the future, because many people wonder what's going to happen. I mean, how long are you staying in England? You've been, as I mentioned, living in New York, in Stockholm for a bit, and now in London. Are you staying here forever, or what's the plan?
Well,
Or who should I ask?
I don't know, really. We're looking at each other. Right now it's a very good place for us to be because of Chris, your business. And I find London is a perfect place because it's close to home, to my family and my friends, so it's easy for me to pop over whenever. New York was a little bit far away. I'm sure you maybe felt the same thing, having family here. So.
Do you have a like a Scandinavian home here, or have you gone totally British with carpet on the bathroom floor and every?
That thing I don't really understand.
I've got no carpet in my bathroom. We like white, clean surfaces.
So a little Scandinavian style.
Well, it's probably thanks to IKEA anyway, really. So it probably was all carpets in the 80s.
No, I think we have a mix. But, yeah.
Leonor is starting school when she's 6 years old. What do you think? I mean, what should be? Do you have?
We don't. 6 years is 4 years from now. So what we do is we lay out different kind of alternative options, and we pre-register and do all the things that one has to do, and hence spreadsheets come out. I mean, in this country,
it's so long, isn't it?
I mean, it's incredible. I've had schools say, no, you're on the wait list because you should have phoned 24 hours after birth.
Yeah, I got told when I was pregnant I should have done it. But when I had it, they said that I should have done it when I was pregnant. Bearing in mind that I just went to the local school around the corner, it's a revelation to me. All that, like, putting their names down, like, they've even got a name. Yeah.
So, what we've done is we've said, look, let's consider every eventuality, plan accordingly, and take it as it goes.
I think it's important to also see, what's best for the kids at the end of the day, and take it from there.
Near future, Christmas coming up. How do you plan to celebrate Christmas?
We are actually celebrating Christmas here with Chris family.
I see. With,
Yeah.
with stocking and everything, or?
Do you do stockings? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're weird in our family. We celebrate on the 24th because
I don't tell you what.
I became a Victoria's Secret agent. We ended up dating, and that's when a lot of like the paparazzi came into my life. And there's a picture of me.
No, you're not.
I am.
I don't believe it.
I was like,
Are you
oh.
romantic her? You are a supermodel of the modern era.
When I was 13 and I won the Dolly Magazine Model of the Year competition, I felt like it was a fluke. I've had so much rejection. People would only see the success that I've had.
And typically, it is the fame and or the fortune that leads to some type of demise. How did modeling shape your thoughts?
It happened so suddenly that it was hard for me to understand, but my whole world just stopped. My first boyfriend was in a car accident and he died instantly. Oh, it completely changed me to never ever take a day for granted.
I've seen a couple things. One is literally you went viral for...
Yeah.
So, can we talk about that? Oh, hey there. Before we begin, I just want to say, if you enjoy this conversation, be sure to like it. Be sure to comment about what you appreciated, and be sure to subscribe. It helps us to bring more guests that you want to see. Thank you. Miranda Kerr, we need to talk.
I'd love that.
So just like that, we're talking.
Yay.
We're here.
Here we are.
Here we are. All right, there are a million things that I want to talk to you about. But you know what I want to start with now. Light.
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 Light's important.
We were talking about the importance of light,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have a story for you,
Yeah.
and I think this is going to resonate with you. So I was telling you that the first time that I was on television, I had a show with Oprah.
Yes.
The first time I met her, we were on stage. It was about 10,000 people. We're in Georgia. And the director tells me I have to walk on stage and introduce her. Because I'm super nervous.
Yeah, you're like, I'm introducing Oprah.
Exactly.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, right? And then what he says is, he says, Paul, walk on stage, hit your mark, and introduce Oprah. Now, I've never been on TV. I don't know what your mark is.
What mark?
I'm-
Where is there an X on the ground? Is there a spot? Is it?
Exactly.
Where's the mark?
What is it? Where's the mark? And so Oprah sees that I'm confused, and she walks over and she says, baby, you just walk on to the stage. When you feel the light is the brightest, that is where you're meant to be. Just stand in the light.
That is amazing. I'm all about the light.
It's all about the light. And you said, when you sat down, you said something similar.
I did.
But do you look at light as the literal, or is there something you think greater?
Oh, obviously both.
Okay.
So when I was a little girl, my mum, she had a little pillow and like hand stitched for me, and it said, "Let your light shine." And so it's like bringing that light out that every one of us has.
Right, do you roughly know how old you were?
Maybe 7.
7, okay. So at 7, where were you living?
Oh, I was living in Australia
Okay.
in a little country town called Gunnedah.
Canada.
Yeah.
How do you believe that environment shaped
my mum and dad had me when my mum was 17. And so she was, working during the day, and then at night she would go to college. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. Obviously, time with my parents as well. But I think that taught me so much, like growing up and seeing how resilient my parents were and the hard work ethic they had. And then being raised a lot with my grandma, really, she was like a homebody and a homemaker.
Okay.
And she was an incredible cook, and even though I came from very humble beginnings, there was this doors open always policy. So people would call in any time of the day at my grandma's house on the farm, and she lost her mother when she was very young. So she would talk to me sometimes about that and how important it is to be close with your family, and it really instilled into me that how important family was and how not to take it for granted. It was quite a grounding upbringing for me.
Yes. You see, so is it fair to say your grandmother you were a superstar?
Yeah, she was.
She was.
Yeah. And I'll get teary thinking about it because.
Yeah, I can see it, and it's so interesting because as I've researched so much about you, I can see that you are a reflection of your grandmother.
Yeah, I feel like she's with me all the time.
Yes, yes. And think of how proud.
She also has like a very funny sense of humor. So she was even making jokes when she was, on her last days, she was just trying to make light of the situation. And she always said, it's fine, I'm not afraid. I know where I'm going. I know that I'm going to be, with God, and I know I have no doubt in my mind. And she goes, I don't know about you, Peter, when she's talking to my grandpa. But she knows I know where I'm going.
You may not be going where I'm going.
You don't know where you're going, but I know where I'm going.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What about, and thank you for sharing that. It sounds idyllic.
Yeah, it was a really beautiful, humble childhood. Like, obviously, everyone has their challenges. Like, I always wanted my mum to be there at school, when they have parents come and do things, or at a carnival if I was competing in swimming, because I like to swim. And so it was just comforting to have that. So it makes me now as a parent really want to be there for my children, because I have the privilege to be able to, with my job, and I started my own business, to be able to, be more available for my children in that regard. And so I really made that a priority, and I feel for my mother not being able to have the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
And I could see the heartbreak, and I could feel the heartbreak that she would have felt not being able to have the opportunity to do that now as a mother myself. I had a lot of fun even with her growing up. Like, when we went to the grocery store, we didn't live very far away from the grocery store, so she would put me in the shopping cart and wheel us home in the shopping cart, in the cart. And because she was so young herself, she would like run, and then go flying round and round in circles with us. So it's like she was like a kid, brazen kid.
And that also makes me now.
And it was very playful.
Yes, I would also imagine that's also why your grandparents played such a, I guess, significant role, because they're looking at kids, raising kids, so they said, we'll take.
Yeah, I like help. We'll help.
We'll help.
Yeah.
One more note on your grandparents is, so your grandparents are no longer with us.
That's right.
But did they have the opportunity to meet your children?
Yes, not the baby, but my children, Hart, Miles, and Flynn, all met my grandparents. And we actually got to spend, so it was during COVID, when everything shut down, we had the opportunity to go to Australia and live with my grandparents, my parents, and us under the same roof, which was always like a dream that we had as a family, that we wanted to have all the generations kind of together under one roof. And so it was really special, even though at the time my grandpa was dying and my grandma was fine. But she ended up passing 20 days after he passed. And anyway, so I don't know if I answered the question, first of all, about what they taught me about love. So
No, you did.
Yeah.
You did. Okay, can we spend a second on the 20
Yeah.
days?
the 20 days
The
apart.
20 days apart.
Yeah,
Do you believe that in part your grandmother passed away from a broken heart?
I feel so. Yeah. When I was giving birth to Flynn, my grandparents' house got struck by lightning, and the whole house burned down, and they didn't have insurance. And that was the house that my dad was raised in, that I was raised in, my cousins. Like, we were all, it was such a nurturing, loving space. And that's the house where she had the piano from her mother,
Yes.
and she would play. on that piano, the great grand piano.
Was the piano destroyed?
It was just the whole house was destroyed. And so after that moment, my grandpa said to my grandma, look, stuff doesn't matter. Like, we don't have anything. Like, we have each other. And that's the most important thing. And so every day from that day on, he kissed every one of her fingers when they woke up in the morning, every one of her fingers, and told her how much that he loved her.
Can I say?
Yeah.
That gave me chills.
I know.
That gave me chills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at a young age, many events are happening that I can see are shaping who you have become today.
Yeah.
But amongst all of these events, at what point do you begin modeling?
Oh.
Just don't forget, you were a model for a little while.
Right,
You
yeah.
remember that, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That old chestnut. No. So yeah, modeling started when it was 1997.
Okay, 97.
So I was 13 and I won the Dolly Magazine Model of the Year competition. And a friend of mine had entered myself and herself into this competition and I won. Then I go and I do this photo shoot in Sydney and it was such a very mind-opening experience because it's like in this big studio with all these lights and this hair and makeup artist and all these clothes, racks and racks of clothing, and I was like, wow. And I was so naive. I was 13, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, I get to pick my own clothes out of all these clothes, and they were like, no, you have to wear what we want you to wear. And I was like, oh. I remember just thinking, I didn't realize it worked that way.
Okay.
that someone else picks, that there's a stylist and tells you what to wear. And I was like, oh, I just assumed that you would be able to have a say in it.
Yes.
And they were like, we're gonna put you in this chocolate brown shirt. And I was like, brown? I never wear brown. Are you sure? I'm more of like a red girl. And they were like, no, we're putting you in this brown shirt. And actually, it was such a nice contrast to my coloring. The chocolate brown was the right choice by the stylist.
It was the right choice. Look at that.
Yeah.
But what I also noticed in that is you're 13.
Yeah.
And you were vocal in what you thought was right for you.
Yes, I was confident in myself.
You were confident in yourself, yes. Because I would imagine a lot of 13-year-olds would have said, look, this is incredible that I'm here. I'll just take whatever.
Yeah.
You were like, no, actually.
I was more inquisitive, curious.
Curious, yeah. Yes.
And my mom was with me, of course.
All right. So you had some confidence because your mother was there.
Mm-hmm.
But did you then think from that experience that this could become a career, or this was just a one-off thing?
I felt like it was just like, wow, this was fluke kind of. I can't believe that I got picked to be here, and look at these. There were other girls there. I think there were 5 of us in this modeling contest that were runners-up, and I was like, look how beautiful they are, and like, hadn't fully come into myself, obviously, at 13. And there's an interview with me when I actually won the competition, and I'm sitting there on TV, and I'm like this, going like, oh, it was a fun shoot. It was so sweet.
So you win.
Yeah, I win that modeling competition.
You win the modeling competition, and that lands you on the cover of Dolly magazine.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. What then is the next, I would say, major moment?
So my mom said to me then, she's like, listen, that's all well and good, great, but this is not going to interfere with your school. You're going to make sure you finish school, and, up until grade 12, and then we'll see. If you want to do some things in the holidays, fine, with school holidays, but it is not interfering with school. Or on the weekends, great. So that's what I did. I did jobs here and there on weekends and school holidays, and that was the extent of it until I graduated.
Okay.
And I graduated when I was 17, and then so I was young for my year. And then my first contract I got was going to Japan, and I had this contract in Japan, and I celebrated my 18th birthday there in Japan.
In Japan, modeling contract.
Yes.
So
And learning how to speak Japanese.
learning how to speak Japanese.
Going on the train, literally not having the cell phone. There were no cell phones back then.
Okay. So what year are we talking?
Calling in a calling card.
Calling, yes.
And so we're talking about
This is,
I don't know exactly what year that is.
this is, okay, so say, but you are,
I was 17.
you're 17, okay. Do you then consider yourself a model professionally at that point?
Oh
No.
no. No.
Really?
No. It was all just an opportunity. I was like, okay, I'll understand. I'll take this opportunity. And I remember I was sharing a model apartment with, there were 3 girls in my room. So I was one of the 3 girls. Then there was 3 girls in the other room, 1 bathroom. So there were 6 girls. And each girl had a different contract. So maybe you were there for a month and you had to do a certain number of days. Otherwise, if you don't fulfill your contract, you get sent back home. And it's very expensive to live in Japan.
Yes.
And so my mom packed me some cans of tuna and rice in my suitcase. So I had those, but buying food was expensive. So, you'd wait for your next paycheck to make sure that you could go and get groceries.
Yes.
And then I remember in the middle of the night, one of the girls was going through the fridge and she was eating my food, and I was like, honey, you can ask me, you can have my food anytime. You don't have to wait till the middle of the night. Don't feel like you have to, if you're hungry, just let me know. We can share this. And I was like, I've got plenty of cans of tuna in there. Don't you worry.
I've got tuna for days.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That sounded like your grandmother coming through too.
But yeah.
What are you doing? Because I think a lot of people think it's you're just occasionally getting a photo taken.
Oh no.
All right, what's the work? Tell us about the real work
Oh,
of modeling.
yeah. So the interesting part is that it's not like as glamorous as people assume it to be. At least not when you're doing catalogs and you're doing one shot after the next shot after the next shot after the next shot after the next shot. So you're constantly on your feet, getting changed, having to get in front of the light, do poses, do like, I don't know, it depends, maybe 50 different frames in that one outfit and come up with different poses. You know how you were like, what pose should I do? I've only got 2 poses.
Right, you were teaching me before this.
Yeah.
You were teaching me how to pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you
had 50.
had to have like so many different poses. And they're like, no, be more natural, be more like that. And you're like, okay, trying here. And then you have to look natural. So what I found was the key for me is not looking at it like it was a camera, but looking at it like it was my friend, or like really connecting with the camera as if it was another human that I was interacting with.
Okay.
And so I kind of got a little in that space.
Yes.
So it's not about the camera anymore.
Yes.
It's about connection.
I see. Okay. So you're developing skills.
Yeah.
You are you're working very hard. You are making very little money.
Yeah.
Right. So very, very humble beginnings here. So then what becomes what becomes an inflection point where you move into professional modeling and you consider yourself a model?
Okay, so that kind of went on for a while. Japan, then I went to Barcelona, I lived in Paris, I lived in Milan, like all different model apartments.
Okay.
All different contracts.
Same setups though.
Same setup.
Different girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, and I think that models are some of the most insecure people because they're constantly getting compared to other people. And so luckily I had that upbringing that was about the light inside, that this was kind of like, you know what, if they don't want this, that's fine, but this for me is an opportunity to travel, to see the world, and to make some money and save money, because I always saw modeling as a short-lived job and a means to an end. So then I could save my money. My mom was an accountant, my dad a builder by trade, both of them. So my mom always drilled into me, save your money so then you can invest into a business or something after.
Brian, if I can ask you there, is because I often hear that what you just said,
Yeah.
models are often compared to each other,
Yeah.
and that it's brutal, right? Can you think of a moment where you were compared to someone else?
It's not necessarily that they sit there and they say, well, you don't have long enough legs as Giselle has. Like you were like they don't necessarily say that, but you go with your book, right? You go with your portfolio, which has pictures of you. They put it out on a table if you're going to a casting. They look through it, look at you. They're trying to think in their mind, are you going to look good in their clothes? Sometimes if they like you, they'll say, could you try on a couple of things for us? Would you do a walk for us?
Okay.
Then you do that. Then they thank you, bye, if you're lucky. That's a good casting.
Really?
And not good casting is, nice to meet you.
Wow.
No, like how's your day, how's nothing. It's just
Flip through.
flip through, great, next. And then they've got like 30 girls lined up outside.
And then what's going on in your mind when they just push the book to you?
You're like, oh, like you could really take it personally. But I decided to not. And I said, okay, I guess that's not what they're looking for. I've had so much rejection through modeling. People now would only see the success that I've had.
Right.
But there was so much pushback and rejection for like, I mean, I couldn't even tell you the figures of how many times I got rejected from many different castings, that you would just go day after day after day after day after day.
Yes.
But you know what? They might not be looking specifically for someone with blue eyes and brown hair.
Right.
And that's okay.
How were you able to get to a place where you were able to increase your self-esteem enough?
Okay,
Check.
so my dad would read a lot of positive mental attitude books growing up. And so he would like read them to me. Like Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yes. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Also How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember where I was in Paris, I was in this little apartment, and I was speaking to him on the phone, and he said, Miranda, every day you make a difference just by being you. Like you're shining your light, and you're bringing that light no matter where you are, whether it is you're on set or whether it is you choose to do something else in your life. So don't feel like you're not contributing, because you are. And he was right, because through modeling, it then gave me a voice. So first I got a face, then I eventually got a voice when I became a Victoria's Secret angel, and then I was able to talk and influence people, hopefully in a way that was uplifting
Yes.
and positive, and helped others understand themselves a little bit more, or gain some insight into health or a different way of looking at things that maybe they hadn't had before.
Okay. Now, was it, you just mentioned Victoria's Secret
Yeah.
Angel. At that point,
Yes.
would you call yourself a model?
Yeah, then I was like, okay, now I'm a model.
Then you're a model.
Yeah.
You have a very high bar.
Yeah, I do.
Before that, I was just an amateur.
Yeah.
But
But then I was like, okay. When I went on my first photo shoot, and when I saw Giselle and Adriana and all these beautiful supermodels, I was like, what am I doing here?
really,
I was like, did they pick? They must have got it wrong. I'm just gonna play the part. I'm gonna play the part until they realize I'm not one of them.
look at that. So you felt
I felt like it.
posture.
Yes, I felt like, yeah, I
You
did.
did. You did. So what's the significance? Because it's interesting. Everyone knows Victoria's Secret angels, right? But the significance of it. Why is it so? Why is it such a sought after
Thing.
thing? Yes.
You know what's funny? When I was 15, I went on a Rotary exchange program,
Okay.
and I went to Virginia, and I had a exchange student come and stay with me, and then I remember going to my first ever Victoria's Secret store, and we don't have anything like that in Australia, and so I was like, wow, this is like being in a candy shop for kids. It's like a candy shop for women, and I just felt like, wow, and I saw all the girls up on the walls, and I was like, it was very aspirational, and kind of, it felt like, this wonderland that you wanted to be a part of. So I remember going on the casting for Victoria's Secret. It wasn't like, oh yeah, you're an angel straight away. Like, it didn't happen like that. It was like, first of all, I worked with them, doing like the pink line,
Yes.
and doing catalog pink line. And then I eventually started working on like the swim book. And then from the swim book, they were like, okay, maybe you want to cast for the show. I was like, wow, this is fun. This is really fun. And I just decided to embrace it
Yes.
fully and be like, let's have fun with this. This is great.
Yes. So you become Victoria's Secret angel.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I saw here that obviously that I find to be fascinating. I didn't realize this until I was doing the research coming in. Is that there was you know this better than me, but there was a gentleman who was a stockbroker
Okay.
in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
You know about this, right?
I remember this.
So this is so you're 27 years old, right? He's a stockbroker. He was caught on live TV
Yeah.
looking at photos of you,
Yeah.
right, while he during a colleague's interview. That video went viral.
Forgot about that.
Got 1.3 million views, and then you supported a campaign to help save his job.
Yes, I was like, give the poor guy a break. Let's not criticize. It's not for us to judge, right? It for us to support each other and be kind to each other.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes,
And, you know, let's just say it's PG.
yes, it's
Come on.
PG. It's PG. So he was looking at these photos of you. He was very impressed instead of being on this interview.
Yeah.
All right. So now, at this point in your career, you consider yourself a model.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself a supermodel?
I really never thought of myself like in that terminology. I've always just seen modeling as a great way to express myself creatively, work with some of the most incredibly talented people, artists.
We have to connect this with the supermodel. Right?
Yeah.
So you don't see yourself in this terminology. Have there been such a thing as supermodels?
Well, I see like Kate Moss is a supermodel,
Okay.
Giselle is a supermodel,
Yes.
Adriana is a supermodel,
Yes.
Helena Christensen, Christy Turlington,
Yes.
supermodels.
Yes. So you don't put yourself in that category of supermodel?
Not
Are you just
really.
being humble, or?
No, really, I don't.
You know what was wild is, so when you were coming over here,
Yeah.
right, I had done all my research, but there was one question that was just here. And I was asking myself, what does supermodel mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
And I was asking, what is Miranda a supermodel? So I went to the resource of all resources, ChatGPT.
Yeah, and what did it say?
And ChatGPT said basically a supermodel is someone who is a model
Okay.
who has achieved global iconic status.
Wow.
And then I asked ChatGPT, and this is the proof, look at this. I asked ChatGPT, here it is. This is my last question. I want you to read. I want you to read my last question to ChatGPT. This is after I've asked.
Wait, this is my take?
So just this question.
Oh, is Miranda Kerr one?
And what does ChatGPT say?
Yes, Miranda Kerr qualifies as a supermodel, though she represents a modern evolution of the title rather than the 1990s archetype, which is what we think of.
Exactly.
Kate Moss.
And this is exactly what you said.
Why she qualifies: global visibility, commercial and brand power, longevity, and reinvention.
Reinvention.
That's what the fashion industry helps reinvent you, and that's fun
Okay.
because you get to play a different character.
Interesting.
Cultural impact. There you go. She helped normalize a more holistic, feminine, wellness-orientated idea of beauty. Love that. Yeah, and then
So
Miranda Kerr is a supermodel of the modern era. With that, I love that. Thank you, ChatGPT.
there you go.
Love
you,
that.
you are a supermodel of the modern era.
Wow.
Yes.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. All right. So, can we talk about a first? There are many firsts in your career,
Yeah.
but this in particular. Now, I thought this was something here.
Oh yeah. On the cover.
For everyone listening,
Yeah.
what did I just give you?
So this is the cover of Australian Vogue, and that was when I was first pregnant with Flynn, and I was so excited to be shooting, obviously the cover of Vogue, but the fact that they captured it when I was pregnant with Flynn.
Yes.
And I also had so many other fun moments that were captured in fashion.
Okay.
Paolo Reversi took a picture of me pregnant with Flynn, and I walked the runway for when Nicolas Ghesquiere was with Balenciaga.
Okay.
So I walked the runway pregnant, 6 months pregnant, and then after I gave birth, I walked the runway like a month after I had given birth.
Wow.
So
1 month after.
yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yes.
Flynn was with me through all of these historical moments.
All of these moments.
He's a good kid, Flynn.
Yeah. Good stock.
Aw.
Good stock. One of the things that, we don't have to go deep on this, and I know that oftentimes their reporting is inaccurate, but by 2014, Forbes had named you, Miranda, as the third highest earning model with a reported income of $7.5 million. Now, we don't have to confirm or deny it, but one thing I know for sure is here is this little girl from Australia,
Yeah.
humble, who's whose mother is packing tuna and rice for her at 17, 18 years old. And here you are, a millionaire, by the time you're 31. How do you reconcile that? Because not only are you wealthy at this point, but famous. How do you reconcile that? Because one of the things that I find so interesting is that we have mostly public figures that we interview here on We Need to Talk, and typically it is the fame and or the fortune that leads to some type of demise in their life.
It can.
It can, but it didn't for you.
No.
Why?
I truly believe my upbringing was really the most grounding force in my life. Everyone has their challenges, and what's important is to kind of appreciate the days that we have while we're here, because we just never know when we might not be here tomorrow. And so I think that's kept me really grounded, and I've always wanted to, I've just growing up in a little country town in Australia, you have that inside of you, and the funny thing is, I feel like my kids have that inside of them, even though they didn't grow up that way.
Yes.
And so my husband always says, I want to make sure, and I agree with him completely, I want to make sure our children are going to be humble, and they're so fortunate, and I never want to raise children that are entitled. And I said, I am with you 100% of the way. But in my mind, I'm like, but of course they're humble. Because when you feel like you've grown up that way, you have this idea that your children are going to be the same.
Yes.
But we do so many things with them to kind of help them realize the life that they have is very, very, very extremely privileged.
Yes, and they're blessed.
And they're blessed.
All right, so then thinking about just relationships in your life.
Yeah.
Was Orlando Bloom the next significant relationship in your life?
Well, he was, I'm trying to think, I met Orlando after Victoria's Secret show.
Okay, see, Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
He was there, and Rosie Huntington brought him over to me. I don't know why, but she was like, and it was kind of dark, and Orlando's hair at that point was kind of long, and I couldn't really see, like it was in the nightclub, it was an after party, and I was like, hi, I'm Miranda, and then he says to me, wow, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And I was like, he's saying this to me in front of Rosie? I think she's beautiful. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how could he be so, what is he doing? And then he tried to like pursue me and try to get my number, because I didn't give him my number.
Okay.
And then he tried to get my number from my agent, and then he ended up getting my number. And then he called me.
He was persistent.
He was persistent.
Yes.
And then, we ended up dating, and we were together for quite some time.
Yes.
And that's when a lot of like the paparazzi came into my life, and that was really strange to have to live every day with that.
Like that, yeah. It seems like that was another period of your life where you were reflective, you learned about what you want. What do you think the biggest lesson was during that time with Orlando?
So many lessons. And Orlando and I are great friends.
Yes.
It's his birthday today.
Is it?
Yeah. And I just wished him happy birthday, and he told me thank you to me for being such a wonderful mother to Flynn and a great friend to him, and that how grateful he is to have me in his life. And I feel the same, and I said thank you for everything that you are, and being such a, wonderful father to Flynn, and I wish him only all the best for this coming year. But we see each other regularly, and we always have been very harmonious.
Yes. Yes.
I think there's such a base level of friendship and respect there that we both have for each other.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So in terms of a lesson, maybe it wasn't what you learned from your time with him, but just how the public was reacting, because you're right, it was like front page of everything, everywhere, all the time.
I remember going downstairs and just outside of my New York apartment, there'd be like 20 photographers every day, and there's this one funny photo which is very unlike me, but kind of like me, because I can be sometimes, I do like to have a little bit shock value sometimes, like my grandma, just a little cheeky.
Yes.
And I went downstairs and I wanted to take Flynn downstairs, but there was all these paparazzi, and I was like, oh, this is really frustrating. I have to take Flynn back upstairs now, because I didn't want to expose him to that unless I actually had to. I was like, guess we're not going to the park today, kiddo. But I had to go and do something later in that day, so I left, like I had to leave. And there's a picture of me, and I'm flicking the middle finger.
No, you're not.
I am.
I don't believe it, Miranda.
Exactly. Who
No,
would
not
have
you.
thought?
No way.
Who would have thought? And I've got my little dog Frankie there. I've got this Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress on. My hair's kind of wet. My sunglasses are on. And my brother called me as soon as he saw it. He's like, "Are you okay?"
Right.
I was like,
Are you-
"Oh."
Right now.
He was like, "Are you okay? I saw you flipping the bird." I was like, "Oh, yeah, that just kind of happened."
Oh my gosh.
That's kind of what happens.
This is kind of what happens.
You feel frustrated
You know,
by the lack of being able to do normal everyday life things. There you go, there it is.
is that you?
That's me.
Looking the camera. Oh
I am.
my gosh. Beautiful
And so
dress.
serious. See, my face is serious.
It's serious. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
I had a few calls, people checking in if I was okay. I mean, I was just annoyed about not being able to take my son to the park without having every second of it photographed.
But I can see you're a very reflective person. So
Yeah.
what did you learn about yourself or about life in that period?
In that period, oh, I learned a lot. And I actually learned how to, I ended up after that moment getting a little more playful with them, the paparazzi, and being like, okay, come on guys, you've got your photo, please just, now you've got a photo, please let me go about the rest of my day. So I would interact with them. And so much so that when I started dating Evan, and they would follow, and he was like, whoa, what's happening? He's like, you're so natural and so comfortable in front of the camera. I'm like, oh, took quite a while to get that way, but after a while you're just like, you know what, they're doing their job, and I respect that.
Right.
Even though it's invading my personal privacy, and I wanted to have these moments where I like took Flynn to the park or the grocery center and like swung him around in the grocery cart like my mom did with me as a kid.
Yes. Yes. See, look at that. You're bringing it back. You're bringing it back.
But
So could we say that one thing that you learned is to give grace
grace.
to those who perhaps, they're invading your privacy, but
Yeah.
but still to give them grace.
To be graceful.
Yes.
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 Except for at that moment,
Except for that. That's not grace.
that's not very grace.
That's not very graceful. So
But it's kind of funny
it is. It's
and unexpected.
yeah, because I wouldn't think you would do that.
No.
It's a new year, and for many of us, it's a moment to recommit to taking care of ourselves. For me, staying healthy and consistent is less about perfection and more about showing up, even on the busy days. You guys know I always have a Huel on me, but I've just started using their Light and Lean starter kit. See, it's a bundle from our sponsors that includes 5 Huel Light ready-to-drinks and the Black Edition vanilla powder and a shaker. So whatever my day looks like, I've got an option that works. I grab my Huel Light ready to drink. It's light but complete meal. 25 grams of protein, 26 essential vitamins and minerals, no artificial sweeteners, and it actually tastes good. Then, when I need a full meal, the Black Edition powder in my kitchen keeps me from falling off track and easily get my protein and nutrients in at home. Huel's Light and Lean Starter Kit is available online now, and you can use our code WNTT30 for 30% off at my.huel.com, WNTT30. So you just mentioned, and when you were dating Evan, so Evan is your husband. Okay. How did and when did you meet Evan?
Yes, so Orlando and I had been separated for a year, and I met Evan at a dinner that I was reluctant to go to, but I had a contract with Louis Vuitton, And part of the contract, I had to attend this dinner in New York at the MoMA.
Yes.
And I was sat next to Evan at this dinner. And ironically, when I sat down, Glenda Bailey was on my left and Evan was on my right. And I'm sitting there, and next thing you know, like, they had candles and flowers at this dinner, obviously, and there was a lot of people there. And it was only our table right between Evan and I. The flames kept like going up, and like the flowers kept catching alight, and we were like, whoa, what's going on here? And then we started talking. At the time, I was renovating my house in Malibu, and he just bought a house in Brentwood, and he was renovating, so we were connecting about that. And I didn't know who he was. I just saw his name was Evan Spiegel, and I explained to him. I said, my favorite song is Spiegel, I'm Spiegel. It's a classical song, and it's an instrumental piece, and it's so beautiful. And he was like, I don't even know that song. And I was like, I mean, given he was 24 at the time.
I was gonna say, so did that put you off then? I would imagine.
I was just like, how could he not know that song? His last name's Spiegel. Anyway, so I was like, you really need to listen to it. So I'm like talking with him, and then Glenda Bailey on my left was like, you guys are gonna get married. And I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
That one night, that one moment.
Just from that moment, she goes, I have predicted this before, but I'm telling you now, you guys are gonna get married. And I was like, Glenda, thank you for your advice. I am not looking for anything right now. I've just separated from Orlando. I'm happy. I've got a child. I really don't want anything serious right now. But thanks for your opinion. But no thanks.
And she was right.
And she was right.
She was right. And at what moment, though, do you find out that, okay, this is Evan Spiegel, this is the co-founder and CEO of Snapchat. At what point do you find this out? And does that impact you in any way, positive or negative?
Well, to be honest, I never really dated a younger man. And I'm 7 years older than him. And so at the time, like when we were chatting, and then I was like, he told me, like we were talking about like cameras for the house, and I was like, he's like, let me give you my number, because I can get you the great person to come and do the security cameras or whatever. I was like, okay, great. So then he like gets up and leaves before dessert. And I look at Glenda and I'm like, he left before dessert. I don't know what you're on about, but we're not getting married. Clearly.
Not interested.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, bye. But I felt like we definitely had a great connection. Anyway, so then, and she's like, don't you know who he, that's when she was like, don't you know who he is? And I was like, no. She was like, Snapchat. And I was like, oh, I've been using that app. And so I had been using the app before I met him.
Okay.
And I was like, this is a fun way to communicate with your friends. And then I went on a trip to Japan, like it was like a month later, and I was on this trip in Japan again. Japan, I have
Keeps coming up.
keeps coming up. And I'm there, and I'd been finished a long day of shooting, and I was having karaoke. I was doing karaoke and having a sake, and I was like, whatever happened to that Evan guy? I need to text him. And so that's when I had the courage to text him.
Wow. So you really made the move. It sounds like you did.
Not really, well, kind of. So at that moment, I was like, whatever happened to that Evan guy? So I'm in Japan, I'm having sake, singing karaoke, and I'm like, did I ever give him my number? Let me see, do I have his number? Oh, Evan, I might text him. I text him and I said, did you ever listen to Spiegel, I'm Spiegel? Love Miranda. Like heart Miranda. And he tries to call me straight away. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm doing karaoke. I'll have to call you tomorrow. And so I called him the next day. And then we just started chatting on the phone for a while, because I was traveling and he was traveling. We got to know each other. And then he actually invited himself on the first date, because I said I was going to do a yoga class with Guru Mukh, who does Kundalini yoga. And he's like, oh, can I come? And I was like, okay, sure. That was our first date, was the yoga class. Yeah, and that was the first time he'd ever done yoga. And now we started doing.
And now I like Miranda. You're eating my time. Now is the stretching. 30 minutes stretching.
In yoga every Sunday for many years.
Anyway,
up
this
until
is
COVID.
Miranda Care.
And he also
So
meditates.
beautiful.
Because I introduced him to meditation.
Yes, I love it. I love it. You know, you can see where, you know, you've leveled him up. Maybe he's leveled you up a little bit, right? And that's what a great relationship is.
Oh, we really balance each other.
And so you have now 3 beautiful children.
We have 3 with him, yes.
Yes. Then you have your oldest with Flynn with Orlando.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found to be so interesting in looking at the research is it seems like the co-parenting works incredibly well.
It does.
And I'd love for you to describe it, because I think this is right now blended families is the fastest version of families. In the UK, 1/3 of all families now are blended families.
Yeah.
And so when you look at it, though, there's typically a lot of contention and tension among the families.
Yes.
But it seems like this is not the case. Like
No.
I've read that Orlando will literally come over to your house with
Oh,
Evan.
Yeah.
You're,
Everything's great.
everything's great.
Yes.
How?
I think because from day one, Orlando and I had done a lot of spiritual work, and forgiveness was a big part of that. Forgiving each other, forgiving ourselves, creating peace within the situation.
Yes.
And we both knew that the relationship was not bringing out the best in each other. And so when we made that decision to separate, I said to him, let's always put the needs of Flynn first. Like, let's not make it about us. Let's make it about what's in the best interest for Flynn. But at the same time, let's make sure that we completely forgive each other, make peace with each other, because otherwise it really weighs on you.
Yes.
And having that animosity towards someone else because they didn't live up to your expectations is very draining. And so forgiving each other and being peaceful with each other was a choice that we made so that then we could be harmonious as parents, because you know what, when you have a child, that child is in your life for the rest of your life. So why, when you have a child with someone else, they're always going to be that person's parent for the rest of their life. And there are going to be situations where you're going to need to talk, if you like it or not. So why not make it harmonious? Why not make it more peaceful?
You know, I'll tell you what, do you follow the Gottman's work, Dr. John and Julie Gottman?
Yes,
Gottman Institute?
yes.
Yeah. It's interesting, in Infidelity,
Yeah.
they talk about how the first step is atoning, right? You need to have that level of forgiveness and that understanding before you can attune
Yes.
and then attach.
Yeah.
And that atonement is everything. And it seems like that forgiveness was there. But even from, if you could speak from Evan's perspective,
Yeah.
because I think, okay, all right, Evan is like, I'm the man of the house,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I wasn't in that relationship, so I don't have to atone for anything.
Yeah.
But yet, it works.
Yeah.
How do you think? What is it about his personality or that allows it to work?
Well, he has a very different situation with his parents. So he's been a child of divorce. So he understands very well how that feels.
Okay.
And so what he didn't want is for Flynn to ever feel any of this stuff that he felt, which wasn't necessarily as harmonious as what it is with Orlando and I. And so he makes an effort to be peaceful and to be kind, and he knows that I love him, and he knows that he's the man for me.
Yes.
So he feels strength in that, as opposed to anything else that, might be weird with an ex coming into the space, and he understands that he's going to be in our life forever. So to have that peaceful existence is so important, and he knows how important it is for me.
Yes.
And I've said it to him from day one. And I think that's something that he really respects about me.
Yes. Yes.
So I kind of set this tone.
Yes, you set the tone. And also, you set the tone, you also set the boundaries,
Yes.
right? Which is incredibly important.
Yeah.
Now, you've also experienced something.
And he actually helped me have a little more boundaries with Orlando, to be honest.
Oh, really?
My husband has a good boundaries. And in the beginning, when Orlando and I had recently separated, I was just very, very giving, as always, and wanting to please. And if Orlando had a last minute change, and he would say this himself, I would always accommodate him to that. And then everyone was like, hold on a minute here. Hold on, you don't have to do that. And I'm like, I know, but, And he's like,
Right.
You don't have to. So you can be clear and boundary and say, I'm so sorry that your plans changed, but we planned according to this.
Yes. So setting the boundaries. So he helped you
He helped.
with setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Now, on the note of boundaries
Yeah.
and parenting,
Yes.
okay, I've seen a couple things. One is, literally, you went viral for talking about the time and the regimen that you have with eating
Yeah.
with your children. That is a boundary.
Yeah.
What is it that you do with your children? What is that? But why, most importantly, is it important to you?
Yes. So I eat at 4:30 p.m. with the kids on the weekdays and around 5 p.m. on the weekends. And then Evan will join on the weekends, but obviously not during the weekdays. I'm fortunate enough to work from home. And so I prioritize my time with my family because it means so much to me. And to be with the kids after school is so important. So having that time with them, and the baby I put to bed now at 5:30, and the boys I was trying to get them to bed by like 6:37, but now it's moved to 7:30
Yes.
because they just mommy, tell me, and I'm like, oh, they're so cute, like, of course. And then and then by the time I get them to bed, then Evan's home. And then, I'll talk with him about his day and sit with him while he has dinner. If he hasn't already eaten before I put the kids down, because sometimes he's come in eating, I'm putting the kids down, and then we connect after that.
Okay.
But we have that time together.
Okay, fair. My wife and I, we have something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is 7 o'clock. But the idea is that we always eat dinner together.
Oh, and by the way, my 15-year-old goes to bed at 9:30.
Yeah, okay.
He's not going to bed early.
I was going to go there.
Yeah.
What? I won't even push on.
No.
But there's no way he's
No,
going to
no,
bed at 7 o'clock.
No.
Yeah.
I have a rule with my teenager that his devices have to be outside of his door at 9:30, and he gives me pushback.
Oh, really? His devices have to be outside of his door?
Outside of his door
Really?
at 9:30.
Interesting.
Not using them.
So, what about screen time?
well, I have parental controls that I activate from my phone to his phone that allow him to have like, you know, screen time. But they have, here's the thing, at school these days, they have to have screen time. So I would like say, you know, I'll be like, okay, so you can have screen time at school, and then when you get home, you can have an hour of screen time. And then he's like, but I need to do my homework. And I'm like, okay, sure, you get to do your homework. So then what the rules I have and that we've decided as a family is that his devices are outside at 9:30, and he obviously is using, you know, the phones, or not the phone, but the computer for school.
Right.
And so I have like restrictions on there, like age restrictions for his age in that regard. He doesn't have social media. He does have Snapchat because that's the way all his friends communicate.
Okay.
And it's interesting that like there's been independent studies done on Snapchat and how it can be beneficial for children with their, not children, but teenagers.
Teenagers, yes.
With their relationships. It was a study done in Amsterdam, I think it was.
Okay.
An independent study saying that it's actually contributes to their happiness because it encourages like connection without pressure.
Interesting.
Just basically like a messaging app. But so many times people will put Snapchat in the social media category, but it's not social media, it's a messaging app
Okay.
that my son uses to message his friends. That's how they communicate.
Does I would imagine it's a sticky issue because your husband is literally the CEO of Snapchat, right? So it becomes tricky. But your 15-year-old, so my 15-year-old, quite honestly, my 12-year-old is on socials.
Okay.
And my 15-year-old is as well. And we've had this lots of conversation
About
on
it.
And one thing I've realized is that I would love it if there was, I like Australia's position on this.
Oh, you do?
I like Australia's position.
But I don't like that they put Snapchat in the same category because it's more of a messaging service.
Oh,
It's not.
Okay.
It's not social media, so there's no likes. There's no likes and comparisons like there is on other social media.
Okay, fair. And
You
what
should be connecting with your friends.
yeah, if it's a message, like I wouldn't put WhatsApp in that, for example.
I don't know if it is it.
I wouldn't, but for a pure play social media
Yeah.
app,
Yeah. So for Instagram,
Instagram,
I agree. It should be. Yeah.
X, TikTok, right?
Yes. Definitely TikTok. Well,
Addictive, but I like it being a more of a universal ban, because when you pull out the children individually, what I've realized is that that's pulling them out of the socially.
I know. And my husband knows all about that because his parents didn't let him watch any TV. His parents didn't even let him have a computer. And one day he's like, well, if I build a computer, can I have one?
I'm done. Thank you for watching with me, training with me. See you next time around.